Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Wa sallallahu wa sallam ala nabiyyina Muhammad wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa sallam. Amma ba'da. Habibti fillah. The question was asked, as many questions are asked about this topic, a very sensitive topic, and that is the situation and advice regarding a abusive husband. And we're talking about, it could be abuse. Sometimes it's physical, wallahu musta'an, and sometimes it is mental or perhaps even spiritual abuse, in that the husband is not being religious and expects no religiosity from his wife, or oppresses her, or is oppressive as far as speech. And speech is something that we all have to be careful of, because the Prophet ﷺ mentioned that the tongue and the private parts are two things that if you can protect them and preserve them, meaning have them on righteousness and preserve them and restrain them, that he will guarantee the person who does that paradise. So letting us know, and in an authentic hadith, سئل النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم عن أكثر ما يدخل الناس الجنة قال تقوى الله وحسن الخلق وسئل عن أكثر ما يدخل الناس النار قال الفم وفرج. The Prophet ﷺ was asked about the thing that brings people most into the hellfire, and he said al-fim wal-faraj, the tongue or the mouth, meaning speaking foul, being abusive with the tongue, and the private parts, zina, fornication, masturbation, etc. وسئل النبي على أكثر ما يدخل الناس الجنة. And this is the first part of the hadith. And the Prophet ﷺ was asked about the thing that brings the people most into paradise, and he said taqwa, which is adhering to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's commands and avoiding his prohibitions, and al-husn al-khulq, righteous manners. So letting us know, and min bab al-ola, as a priority, or in the first and most important instance, as a necessity, or it goes without saying, that this is the life of the husband and wife. That it should be respectful, it should be built upon respect, it should be built upon looking out for the needs of one another, caring for one another, giving one another their rights, striving to give love and affection to one another. This is the hayat zawjiyah, and being patient with one another and willing to compromise. This is also important marital advice. So what about this husband, or these husbands that are abusive and don't consider their wives' needs? Sometimes some husbands do not even take care of the bare necessities of their wives, meaning they don't spend on them, they don't provide a house for them, they don't provide clothing for them, they don't provide them with even food. And this is a more extreme situation of oppression if they have not made some other arrangement. Maybe she's not in need of spending in this situation, and she's forfeited her right. But this is her haqq. That's her right. Likewise, some husbands do not assist the women at all with other needs. Perhaps it is in raising their children. Perhaps it is in providing the needs, some other needs, or assisting her with things that she needs. That is going to depend upon the busyness of the family, if he's legitimately busy or not. But it can that sometimes be a sinful situation if he is totally neglecting things that she needs that have to do with her rights over him, when it comes to spending, when it comes to certain aspects of time, and so on and so forth. So very important. And the intent of marriage is that Allah made it a sign for us, and made it a source. It should be a source of love and affection and mercy. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, في كتابه الكريم ومن آياته أن خلق لكم من أنفسكم أزواجا لتسكنوا إليها وجعل بينكم مودة ورحمة إن في ذلك لآية لقوم يتفكرون. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says في كتاب الكريم, and from his signs is that he created for you from amongst you partners or spouses to be comforted by, or to be comforted by being with them, and made between you love and mercy. And in this is a sign for a people who are a thinking people. The people of intellect, they reflect on this and think of the ni'mah that of the marital bond, especially when it's a good, healthy bond, when the people have love and they have, they have their physical, spiritual, and mental needs are met. Then this, you can't beat that. And the Prophet ﷺ mentioned that one of the best things for a man, the most beautiful things for a man, is a pious woman, is a righteous woman. No doubt, a righteous woman who is pleasing to you physically, to your eye, to your heart, and to your soul, helps you in your iman. There's nothing in this dunya that can compare to that, because that helps you in this life as well as the hereafter. It helps you be obedient to Allah and focus and not be distracted because of her beauty and her kindness and her gentleness and her looking out for your needs. And likewise the men, taking care of themselves physically, okay, not getting obese and what have you. And maybe that depends on the person, depends on the family, but take care of yourself. Make yourself look handsome for your wife or your wives. And likewise, meet her physical, mental needs. Some of the women, they need mental stroking, that they need to be caressed with your speech, with good recognition of their needs, with gifts. Depends on the person, but strive to meet her needs. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says في كتاب الكريم وعاشروهن بالمعروف فإن كرهتموهن فعسى أن تكرهوا شيئا ويجعل الله فيه خيرا كثيرا. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says في كتاب الكريم in Surah An-Nisa verse 19, and maintain them in righteousness. Give them a good life and keep them in righteousness. Meaning keep your wives in righteousness. Be good with your wives. Kind in speech. Gentle in behavior. Gentle in conduct. Trying to attend to her needs physically, mentally, and spiritually. And if you dislike something from them, then perhaps that you dislike something and Allah will put in it khairan kathira, so much good. Meaning to not rush to talaq. Don't rush to divorce. And don't rush to do those things which cause more dissatisfaction and more disharmony and discord in your family's life. But rather be kind and gentle and patient with her any things that appear crooked from her, or any mistakes or something, or what have you, or shortcomings she may have. Be patient. Likewise, the woman, be patient with your husband. The Prophet ﷺ said, خَيْرَكُمْ لِنِسَائِهِمْ. He said, the best of you are those who are best to their wives. So all of this evidence shows us the importance of love and mercy and being kind and gentle towards one another, and trying to have a compromise in your marriage and be understanding of one another. All of that is dalil for that. Okay? And we should know that. That's no mystery and nothing difficult. Even from our fitrah, that's not a mystery and a difficulty. But what happens when we don't have those things? When we have an abusive spouse, perhaps an abusive wife, she's abusive in her tongue. Some women are actually tough and they're abusive with their hands. Okay? Those are situations. And likewise, we have abusive husbands, abusive with their tongues, abusive in not attending to the needs and being oppressive. So what should the woman do? The first thing is being very patient. Secondly, striving your utmost, as Allah mentions, that when you have discord between you, to try to find an arbitrator that you both trust, or arbitrators from both of your families or from both sides. A good brother that's going to be honest, or the imam of the masjid, or the person in the community who both of you respect and trust. Likewise, someone from your side. And it's better to follow the example that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has mentioned, that you bring someone from her side and someone from his side to both, and have an imam, someone to arbitrate. Talk about these needs. I know it's difficult. A lot of in our culture, no one wants to have their business in the street, which is understandable. But sometimes it becomes necessary when you have all kind of issues. And this is to keep the issues from spreading. Secondly, if this doesn't work, if this is not possible, then it's going to become necessary for the woman that's being abused and having her rights trampled, that she needs to seek advice from someone. If they have Muslim families, this is the best. If she can go to his parents. If they don't have this, then she can go to the imam, trustworthy imam or scholar or student of knowledge that deals with these kind of issues, or someone who deals with these kind of issues in the community. And unfortunately, in a lot of our communities, we don't have this infrastructure. We do not have counseling like we need. We do not have people to deal with these issues like we need. Okay, some of the communities that are Muslim, by birth, immigrant communities, some of them, they have this. A lot of Somali communities, they have a hierarchy. Pakistani communities, they have this hierarchy and this structure sometimes. Many other communities, the Ethiopians, they have this. They have some sort of mechanism. But us as reverts, we a lot of times don't have this mechanism. And we have to start building it. But what about the woman in this situation now? What about the brother in this situation now? We have to try those steps. Strive your utmost to be patient. Strive your utmost to articulate this in the most gentlest of ways with your husband. If he is totally not unresponsive and not willing to try and not willing to change, then eventually, as a last resort, and you've tried everything, you've went to imams and you've tried and you tried, you need to articulate to this to him, that it's getting very serious, and if we don't get the help, it could cause our separation. My advice is to strive your utmost to keep, as long as there's no physical abuse and it isn't any extreme situation. If it is a physical situation, then of course I can't advise someone to stay in those situations. And to show how serious these matters are, especially when it comes to fatwa, that our great Sheikh, Imam Sheikh Abdul Muhsin al-Abbad, Hafidhullah Ta'ala, he doesn't even deal with these issues, as many of the Mashaykh have mentioned, that the Sheikh, when he gets these kind of questions, he doesn't even deal with it. He tells the people, go to the Hakam, go to the judge. Now, this Imam of Hadith, doesn't deal with those things. So not everybody should have a place in that. But our situation, la shak, differs. We don't have a Muslim country. We don't have a imam. We don't have an Islamic court or a judge. We don't have anyone to deal with our situation, so somebody has to deal with it. So try to find someone locally, hopefully, of knowledge that you and your husband trust, to be able to have sit down. You need this. This is your counseling. And hopefully he's responsive. But I know a lot of men are not responsive. And I know that even myself, I wouldn't want people in my business, but when I've had to have those situations, I'm not the kind to become excessively angry in this. I've had situations where I've sat and I've listened and I've spoke and heard the other parties. So it's very important to be open to that. And as a last resort, when it becomes a situation where you can't remain in the marriage, and this is something else. But you have to strive and take those steps. Take every step that that you're able to do without having your safety threatened, or the safety of your children, if you have children, threatened. Strive your utmost to work with your husband, work on your husband, convince him, keep trying, send him articles, whatever the situation is, but try to get an arbitrator, hopefully that's fair and just and understanding. And we ask Allah the Almighty to accept our good and forgive our evil. Anything I said that was correct was from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Anything I said that was incorrect was from myself and the shaitan. Wa sallallahu wa sallam ala nabiyyina Muhammad wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa sallam.